Hi everybody, I'm getting ready to make some delicious, no fuss, crispy, golden fried chicken, and I've got all my ingredients ready. Now it's always a good idea to have all your ingredients ready because then everything will flow and it makes cooking fun. Now here's my chicken. I have it ready, nice and dry. You want to make sure that your chicken is nice and dry because if it's wet, it won't hold the breading, see? Now I've got 6 pieces. I'm gonna be using 3 chicken legs and 3 chicken thighs. Of course, they've got the bone in there. I always keep them nice and dry with paper towels like this. I'm gonna be using my Presto Cool Daddy deep fryer. Now I've had this for years and it's a oldie but a goodie. It works just perfectly well. Now if you don't have a deep fryer, you can prepare your chicken on the stovetop. Just make sure that you have a thermometer. You always want to maintain the heat. That's the secret to delicious fried chicken, is to make sure that you maintain that heat. And I'm going to be using canola oil. You can use your favorite oil, but canola works perfectly fine for me. Now I've got my temperature set at 350 degrees because once I put my chicken in there, the temperature will drop. And I always like to fry my chicken anywhere between 325 and 335. So just maintain it and keep an eye on it. I have 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm gonna put it in here. Now I like using a big dish like this because it gives you plenty of room to work with. And I have 2.5 tablespoons of my homemade seasoned salt. I have always used store-bought seasoned salt until I made my own. Now that I have my own, it is just absolutely perfect. I'll put a link below so that you prepare it and keep it in your cupboard so it'll always be ready to go whenever you need it. I have 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda. And I have a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. Now the combination of the baking soda and the baking powder will give you a beautiful crust. I have 1/2 teaspoon of rubbed sage. Ooh, this is gonna be so good. 1/2 teaspoon of ground thyme. And 1/2 teaspoon of basil leaves. 1.5 teaspoons of parsley flakes. And I'm going to whisk it in real good like this. You want to make sure that you get it all incorporated really well. If your baking soda and your baking powder stay over here in the corner, then the chicken that you bred over here is not going to get any. So that's why it's very important that you get it all very well incorporated. Now I've got this nice and mixed really well. I'm gonna prepare my wet ingredients. I have 1 egg. I'm gonna put it into this dish. And I have 1 cup of buttermilk. Now this is homemade buttermilk. It's just a perfect substitute from store-bought. I don't always keep buttermilk in the refrigerator because it doesn't last. I don't use it often. So what I do is I get the 1 cup measuring cup. I put in 1 tablespoon of white vinegar, and then I fill up the rest of the measuring cup with cold whole milk. And you let it sit for about 5 minutes or so, and it's a great substitute for buttermilk, see? So I got my egg and my buttermilk mixed in really good, and that's ready to go. So now I'm ready to bread my chicken. But before I do that, I'm gonna season the chicken well before I put it into my seasoned flour, because you wanna make sure that the flavor comes from the inside out. There's nothing worse than having chicken that doesn't have any flavor. Now this is just 1 teaspoon and about 1/4 of my same seasoned salt. So I'm gonna sprinkle it on my chicken like this and make sure that it's real nice and coated. Do the best you can. You might have to use a little bit more depending on how many pieces you're gonna be frying. But for 6, I think this will work just fine. And then when you bite into the chicken, it's gonna be delicious because the flavor is so good from the inside out. Not just the crust, but the inside. And that's important. And that's perfect. See, now it's well seasoned. Now I like to do a double dip. I wanna make sure that it's real nice and coated. And I like to push it in here like that. Shake off the excess and then do it again. Now your hands are gonna get a little messy, but it's really the easiest way to do it. You just wanna make sure that you work right here, keep everything as clean as possible. You can wear gloves if you want, but this is really just the easiest way to go. And then do it again. Very easy. And then double dip. I think that 2 works just perfect. Now, before I put it into the hot oil, I'm gonna go wash my hands. So I'll see you in a little bit. So my oil is nice and hot. I'm gonna put my thigh in first. Look at how beautiful that looks. And then here's a leg. And here's the other leg. You don't want to overcrowd it, but I find that 3 pieces works perfectly well, just like that. So it's been 18 minutes, and I'm gonna get my chicken legs out. Look at this. Oh man, beautiful. And here's the other one. Now I like to put them right here on a rack with paper towels at the bottom. This way they won't get soggy. Beautiful chicken legs. Now I'm gonna let my thigh continue frying until it's ready to go. Let's take a look. Now we're gonna be having our fried chicken with mashed potatoes, homemade biscuits that I made earlier just before I started on the chicken, and my homemade gravy. If you'd like to see the recipe for my homemade gravy and my biscuits, put a comment below and let me know. Now it's time to serve. So here's my chicken thigh and a leg. Look at these. My mashed potatoes and the gravy. And here's my biscuit. Now it's time for the taste test. I've been waiting for this all day. So here goes. And then with my iced tea, limeade, delicious. So this is my no fuss, golden, crispy fried chicken. If you like my recipe, give me a thumbs up, send me a comment and tell me what you think. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. And don't forget to share. Thank you.